We are talking about a cold, calculated strike right in the heart of Boston that literally vanished $500 million worth of cultural heritage into the night. $500 million. So let's just jump right into the anatomy of this legendary puzzle.
The source text actually grounds its entire analysis in this one massive foundational claim: America's most mysterious unsolved heist. I mean, think about the history of crime in the US for a second. Think about all those elaborate plots we've seen over the years. Yet, this specific event, it claims the absolute top spot. And to understand why, you really have to look at the sheer scale of what went down in the early hours of St. Patrick's Day in 1990. 13 masterpieces, collectively valued at over $500 million, were just ripped from their frames. The thieves spent 81 minutes inside the museum. In the world of high-stakes crime, 81 minutes is an absolute eternity. We're going to break down exactly what makes this enduring puzzle so incredibly unique.
Section 1. The Gardner Museum Heist. You know, the word heist isn't just a fancy term for robbery. It implies a level of sophistication, coordination, and just breathtaking boldness. And the Gardner theft? It is the absolute textbook definition of this. The perpetrators didn't just smash a window and grab whatever was closest. No, they executed a meticulously planned operation. They actually showed up disguised in incredibly convincing Boston Police Department uniforms. We're talking complete with badges and exactly the right demeanor to totally bypass the night security guards. They used a fake disturbance call to get inside, tied up the guards down in the basement, and then they literally had the run of the museum. And they knew precisely what they were looking for. They bypassed other incredibly valuable works just to target very specific masterpieces, like Rembrandt's only known seascape, The Storm on the Sea of Galilee. So this wasn't chaotic at all. It was surgical. Moving on to Section 2, Shadows in the Gallery. When our source material refers to shadows, it's pointing directly to the super frustrating, murky reality of the investigation itself. These shadows, they represent the massive gaps in physical evidence that have just plagued authorities for decades now. Over the years, the FBI has chased thousands of leads all around the globe, hitting dead end after dead end. We've seen suspects named, actually a lot of them with deep ties to organized crime syndicates in New England and beyond, only for those individuals to take their secrets straight to the grave before any arrests could be made. The shadows are the informants who suddenly went quiet, the supposed sightings that turned out to be absolutely nothing, and that chilling reality that whoever pulled this off somehow managed to slip away almost entirely without a trace. And the physical gallery itself serves as this haunting reminder of the violation. Normally, a gallery is a place of brilliant illumination, right? It's designed to showcase human genius. But the Gardner Museum presents a really stark contrast. See, Isabella Stewart Gardner's strict will mandated that the arrangement of her collection could never be altered. Because of that legal stipulation, the museum couldn't just swap in other paintings to replace the stolen ones. Instead, they were forced to leave the empty frames hanging exactly where the masterpieces used to be. If you walk through those lit halls today, those empty frames act as permanent, literal shadows of the stolen art. It is an incredibly powerful visual representation of loss that perfectly captures the lingering darkness of the whole event. Which brings us to Section 3, America's Greatest Mystery. So in the world of high-end art theft, cases typically follow a pretty familiar life cycle. Usually, stolen art surfaces within a few years. It might be offered up as collateral in an underground drug deal, or maybe an informant tips off authorities, which leads to a sting operation when the thieves try to fence the artwork on the black market. The point is, there's usually a moment where the case closes, the art returns, and the story ends. But the Gardner Museum theft, it breaks every single one of those rules. It is a total anomaly. In over 3 decades, despite a massive global search effort, not a single one of the 13 stolen pieces has ever surfaced. No credible photographs of the art in hiding, no recovered scraps of canvas, nothing. It's this total echoing silence that defies all typical patterns of art crime. And that is exactly what cements its status as America's greatest mystery.
Section 4, An Unsolved Legacy.
The fact that this case remains unsolved isn't just some point of historical trivia. It actively shapes the ongoing legacy of the museum and law enforcement efforts today. This is an open, active file. Right now, as we speak, there's a standing $10 million reward for information leading directly to the recovery of the art in good condition. 10 million. The FBI continues to issue pleas to the public, hoping that, maybe shifting loyalties or changing circumstances over the decades might finally loosen someone's tongue. And what's particularly fascinating about this, the statute of limitations on the actual theft has long since passed. The original thieves literally cannot be prosecuted for the 1990 break-in anymore. So the entire massive law enforcement effort has totally pivoted away from punishment. It is now focused purely, 100%, on just getting these cultural treasures back. America's most mysterious unsolved heist, the Gardner Museum theft. When we bring all of these threads together under that banner, the phrase feels completely earned, doesn't it? It's not just hyperbole. We're looking at a meticulously planned 81-minute strike that bypassed tight security to strip 13 irreplaceable masterpieces right off the walls. We're looking at a crime that has generated countless dead ends, shadowy underworld connections, and a ridiculously frustrating lack of physical evidence. And above all, we are looking at decades of absolute silence, leaving nothing but empty frames hanging as a daily reminder of what was lost. It really is a perfectly crafted summary of this enduring cultural obsession.
So will the shadows ever lift on America's most mysterious heist? Will those empty frames finally be filled? Or are these masterpieces just destined to remain a permanent blind spot in our history? It's a question that continues to baffle the greatest investigative minds in the world. I really hope this explainer gave you some new context to think about the next time you hear about this legendary case. Thanks so much for hanging out with me to explore this source material. Until next time, keep asking the big questions.